Okay, let's see. I think we're live. Can I get a message in the chat on if we are here? Okay, look. Yeah. Somebody weigh in the chat if you can hear us. Audio, technical, etc. We got people from South Africa. We got somebody from Poland. This is wonderful. Good afternoon from France. Look at that. We're live.
Mhm.
Okay. Hell yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Folks, thank you for joining wherever you're at all over the world. Looks like we got some folks coming in from Europe. We got some folks coming in from Africa. This is super, super cool. Great to hear. My name is Garrett King. I've got a couple of my friends here. This is Isabella and Sage. We're going to get a chance to hear from them today. My friend Emily may join shortly. We'll see if some technical difficulties come through. We got Vancouver in the house. Very good. Yeah, let's get started. I'll intro these two right off the bat. Let's see. So first off, let's talk who's here with us today. Two of my favorite people to work with from where I'm from, back in Dallas, Texas. We got Isabella Becker here, as well as Sage Herrera. Y'all want to say hi? Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Do you want to go first
Hello,
or do you want me to go
hello.
first?
Yeah, you go first, Isabella.
Okay. Hey, y'all. So I'm from Dallas, Texas. Been working with Garrett for a few years now. We have such a blast all the time. It's always good stuff. I've been modeling for almost a decade now, and I'm really happy to be here. That's
Nice.
all I got.
Same.
Sorry.
Same for me. Yeah, my name is Sage. I am also in Dallas, Texas. I've been modeling for a good chunk of time, probably like 6, 7 years now. And yeah, I've known Garrett for a few years, and he's one of the best. Enjoy working with him so much.
Thank you. So nice. Yeah, these are two of the greats. When I thought, you know, it I'd been thinking about this topic for a while because the first two webinars we've done, if y'all know me from any of my videos, you know me mostly from like a lot of the practical stuff, lighting, composition, things like that. But I wanted to start getting into some of the more human aspects of the craft, and I think this is a topic that a lot of people in this world don't bring up a whole lot, and it can be kind of nuanced and weird. So I wanted to get these two, and we'll see if Emily joins because, yeah, I think they're wonderful to work with. So, okay, let's see. Let's talk about the goal, like what the mission for this today is. This is for the up and coming photographer somewhere in your first 10 years. That's a really wide lane. Like you might be brand new to this whole game, or you might have been doing this for a while and you're just looking to sharpen your skills or what have you. Ultimately, our goal for today is to help you reach a like creative escape velocity by building a portfolio that you're proud of so more people will want to work with you. Like I think something that's so true about any visual art form, whether it's us on the photographer side and it's our portfolio of what we've shot, or whether it's for these folks on the side of being models, um, everything that you've shot and everything that's in your book, it begets the next set of work. Like these two were just telling me they're going to go shoot for a big brand tomorrow down in, I think, Austin. And all of that opportunity happened a lot, at least somewhat, because of work they've done in the past, because they were able to prove what they can do with other clients. Um, and then I think the last thing I would say is what we're going to cover today is all about the first couple of steps of working with somebody that you haven't worked with before. We can't cover everything in a short amount of time, but I really want to find out like if people like it in the future, we can go further. Like consider this part one. So y'all too, anything you would add?
I think you got it.
Very good.
Yeah,
All right,
that sounds great.
cool. Okay, so a couple of disclaimers real quick. I don't know everything. This is not sponsored. Nobody is paying us to do this. Depending on how long you've been in your craft as a photographer, you might know more than me. And this is a very complex topic. So I've tried to put a fair amount of thought into how do you make like demystify this and make it at least weird possible, but we'll see. So a couple of operational details. Please ask questions. We are here to help. I am going to be seeking feedback. I want to know how you think this went. Every single one of you should have gotten an email, at least one from me, on how this is going. Or, to give you the link for this, you can just reply to it. I will read every single one of them. I want to hear what you think, and should we do more of these in the future? And just be cool. Oh, and the stream is about 30 seconds behind what we see. So if you have a question, put it in the chat ahead of time and we'll work through the list. It just keeps the meeting moving smoothly. So, Okay, let's see. Let's talk. Like, it is vital to get this thing right, or to get working with talent right. Um, I want to start by talking about like there is a symbiotic relationship I feel between the people that are working the camera or in the back of the camera and the folks that are in front of the camera. Like, we are in this together and we need each other. On our side, photographers, like, there's a lot of stuff we do. We construct the image, the lighting, the comp, the angles. We think about the story and what it is we want to try to say with these photos. We are often like the point person on planning the shoot, etc. And without us, the photograph typically doesn't happen. But for models, the other side of the coin, they help you bring the story to life. They're the character in the story. Sometimes they own all of the details in terms of hair, makeup, etc. And it's also true about them. Without them, the shot doesn't happen. Like, we're in it together. And I think the more we can approach it like we really need each other to make the work we all want to make, I think more good work gets made. I don't know, Sage, Isabella, anything y'all would add?
I would
Yeah, I
just
mean, I
say, oh,
definitely
sorry.
agree. Go ahead, Izzy.
No,
Sorry.
you're good. You're good. You go.
I just definitely think that yeah, you have to view it as a team, and there really can't be that this disconnect between the people behind the camera and the people in front of the camera. I think you create your best work and you kind of achieve a common goal when we're all on the same page and we're all respecting each other, on set.
I so agree with that. And to like piggyback off of what you were saying, it's really important that everyone also understands like, yes, we're a team, but each person has a job like on set. Like photographers do their job, models have their job. So sometimes it's a little difficult when the lines are blurred a little bit because obviously, like, we have to respect each other's crafts, but it can make it a lot harder and the images not come out the best they could at the end of the day if we're not focusing on our job, if that makes sense. And for example, like sometimes, a model might think she knows more than the photographer, and the photographer might think he knows, what pose and might be, yelling out poses at you really fast. And it's like, but as a model, you know that and you're about to get there. But I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's a good example. But if y'all get the main gist of what I'm saying, basically just stick to your job like in a very respectful way, if that makes sense. But it's a make or break when you're working with a photographer. It really is, because sometimes the images don't come out as well if one person's telling you how to do the job or whatever, but you do need to still critique. It depends on the model you're working with. Professional models know what they're doing. If you're working with a newer model, you might need to tell them a little bit more of what to do, if that makes sense.
That's a really fair point. Like, and we'll talk a little bit in a bit about like understanding what level in the craft you're at. Like, for example,
Hmm.
somebody who routinely does Vogue covers on a annual basis, they might need a little bit less or a lot less critique than somebody who just did their first test shoot. Like, just inherently, we're at different levels, and a photographer that's been doing this and shooting magazine covers or big commercial campaigns for 20 or 30 years has a base of knowledge that they can build off of that's just inherently a little bit bigger than somebody who's brand new to the game. But there's got to be a way to do it respectfully and like give people feedback along the way without being like overly critical. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Um, and so I was trying to think of a metaphor on like this is kind of stupid. I was trying to think of a metaphor on what happens when one of these two groups, like you, and usually it's photographers that are conducting outreach, don't execute a pitch right. And what I like, the metaphor I came up with was like when y'all are little playing t-ball or softball or what have you, like before you even get to the point when kids are pitching to you, like parents are pitching or the coach, like coach pitch, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? I think
Hmm. Yeah.
outside of
Mhm.
America, people may not know, but like when you're really little, this is, yeah, like your parents or your coach will pitch, and their goal is not to try to strike you out. Like it is to try to create opportunities for these kids to make contact with the ball. And so, like, any good photo shoot is like the result of a usually a pitch of some sort happening and then somebody making contact with it. And if when we don't get all the components right on like this is what I want to do and here's how I want to do it, etc., That's a piece of art that could have made it into the world that didn't make it into the world because the photographer and the talent didn't get synced up.
Hmm.
And yeah, like the better we can be about communication ahead of time and try to bring projects to life, the more projects come to life. So anyway, that was a little bumpy. I'll get that one better next time. But you'll get what I mean, right?
Yeah,
It
no,
made
that's
sense to
good.
me. I
Yeah.
understood.
Thank you. All right. So let's talk like there's two big schools of thought, or like maybe not schools of thought, but like there's I would say like two primary approaches when you don't know somebody or when you want to when you're looking for new people to shoot with. We're going to start with cold DMs or like cold outreach, and then we'll get into how to work with agencies because I think both play a role, but they're just different. Yeah, okay. So, first, cold DMs. All productive relationships start somewhere. This is how me and Sage started working together. Sage, hope you don't mind I screenshotted it.
That's fine. As
Yeah.
long as is there nothing? Yeah, there's something bad in there. So I didn't
I
say
looked ahead of
any
time.
curse words, did I?
You did it. You hadn't cussed at me at that
Not
point.
yet. Yeah, I
Yes,
hadn't started
exactly.
bad mouthing yet.
But like it all just starts somewhere. Sometimes it's with a DM. Your goal with the DM is super simple, at least to me, and I want to see what these two think too. It is to open lines of communication between two creative people to figure out whether or not y'all both can work together and make something cool. It's just kicking it off. I don't know. Sage, Isabella, do y'all you feel the same?
100%. I mean, I think that first DM is like so important, and also how you do it and how you approach, like, because obviously, like, there's a gender thing too. A lot of photographers are males and a lot of models are women. And so sometimes when you get a DM from a photographer and it's a male, you got to come across respectfully if you want that model to work with you, and you have to do things you have to swing the right way. Um, to make sure that it happens and that it's respectful and that you get the model's attention without coming off as like a creep or weird or whatever. There's so many things that go into it.
Yeah,
Sage,
I
anything?
think that first DM is very crucial, especially to me. I'm a very wary person in general, and yeah, if just because you're a photographer, I feel like you can't send a DM and just be like, hey. If you send me a DM that just says, hey, I'm not going to respond because I don't know what
Mhm.
your intentions are. And just because I can look at your page and see that you're a photographer, I'm not going to assume it's because you want to shoot. So I think just being clear and concise about what your intentions are is so important with that first DM.
Well, and also too, to piggyback off of that, one other thing is like, as a photographer, like if that's your job, there is like an amount of professionalism to it. And I think social media has kind of taken that away because your account matters too. So like if you send me a DM and it's like, "Hey," like what Garrett sent Sage, that was perfect because it's like, okay, you understand. The next step that a model takes is what does your account look like? So it's also like making sure your account is professional and cleaned up and respectful because if you there's so there's so many things you could talk about here, but main gist, like we go to your page next, and that's the next part that's going to determine where we go from there. I feel like most of the time.
It's I think it is in my experience. Obviously, I've never been on the other side of the camera, but I think Isabella is exactly she's saying exactly what I've seen too. And like my recommendations for photographers, and let's see if these two would agree, is like don't get fancy, do not send an essay, be friendly and direct. Do you want to shoot the next time I'm in Arizona? Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Like a couple of sentences, keep it real simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being simple and clear is the best thing that you can possibly do. Just be like, hey, I think yeah, say, hey, I'm interested in shooting with you. Info if you can, but just being like super direct and clear.
Cool.
Yeah.
You, Isabella, you kind of tee me off. I've got something in the sec that I think is going to line up really closely with what you said.
Okay.
What I wanted to like brief everybody on is like there's a range of things that can happen as a result of a DM. Let's go like worst case to best case. I didn't include worst case like you end up on the front page of the New York Times or something because we're just going to assume that no one's going to send anything weird and we're normal people. Worst case in that in our little narrow universe is somebody just doesn't see it. And that happens all the time. Like especially if somebody's got a decent sized following. A lot of DMs get routed into the requests folder. I mean, I don't know. I bet y'all would probably agree. Like sometimes you just don't see stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
definitely.
happens. One step over from that, somebody might see it, but they might not respond to it. And there could be a million reasons why. It might be that they aren't don't necessarily want to work with you. It might be that they're just busy, right? Like sometimes you're not the right fit. Sometimes there's just no negative intent. Folks have stuff going on. They're moving, but work is busy, whatever. Um, sometimes you get a response, but then it kind of fizzles out and y'all don't find a way to work together. No shoot happens, whatever. And then best case is you get a response and then something turns into a shoot. And I think the main thing is, like I said, is don't take any of this stuff personally, right? Like creative people are busy people. Folks are trying to make a living. Life is expensive. Yeah, people have lives. They are busy. So anything else y'all would add there?
I think 100%. And just kind of understanding that too. There's a lot of photographers who I feel like they take it really personal if you don't respond or you don't want to work with them. But at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. Like, this is all of our jobs, it's all of our careers, and it's very strategical and has to be professional. Like, at the end of the day, sometimes, I mean, there's people who bug me. I have photographers who I haven't responded to them in a year and they are still in my DMs and they creep me out and they get blocked. Like, it's really that simple. And if I tell you no that I can't, because also models' careers are insane. Like, we don't, I found out about my shoot yesterday and then I'm going out of town today, yesterday. So say that you asked me to shoot this week and I don't respond or something changes. It's literally not personal. It's just kind of the name of the game. And you have to understand that and have thick skin as a photographer. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. You're going to be seen as really difficult or creepy or weird. And you don't want that. No one wants that.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between being, you know, persistent and then maybe being like slightly creepy and slightly annoying. And if maybe you think, oh, I sent a DM a couple months ago, maybe they didn't see it, I'll shoot another one. I think that's fine. But if you're continuously DMing, that's a huge red flag for me. I'm like, I don't want to mess with anybody that is moving like that. And as far as like taking things personally, yeah, I mean, people get busy. People just kind of, again, this, as Isabella said, this world is so chaotic. We kind of tend to get overwhelmed. And you know what? Sometimes a model might look at your page and just think your work is great. You're really talented. That's just not my vibe. That's not what I want to do right now. And again, it's nothing personal. It's just a difference in what you want to do.
100%.
They kind of led me to it. Usually one of the first things, if not the first thing that's going to happen after, somebody in Isabella or Sage's position that sees a DM from somebody they're not familiar with, they're going to probably take a look at your social, because it says a lot about you. Here are some things that I think it says. One is what type of work we do as a photographer. If, for example, you reach out to somebody and your page is entirely family portraits or bird watching or macro shots of flowers or youth sports, that is probably going to have an impact on whether or not they want to spend a couple hours out of their day working with you. Like, it just inherently will, because they don't have necessarily a lot of proof that it make sense for them. The second thing, how good you are at taking pictures. There is a skill aspect to this. I can confidently say that this is year 10 of taking pictures of people for me. And there are folks that I'll pick on these two. Had I come to them 5 years earlier in the craft, I don't think they would have said yes. Like, I wasn't ready, you know what I mean? Like, I needed to get better. I'll show some very early stuff I shot back in 2018 in a second. And y'all will see, like, oh yeah, I mean, look, man needed some practice. Um, Next, like what we might be like to work with. You know what I mean? One thing I noticed very frequently when I lived in Phoenix was, I think different cities have maybe like a look for a lot of photography. Like, and in Arizona at the time, there was a lot of like really dark, moody portraits. Like, people wore a lot of leather jackets and like it was super over edited and like a lot of like weird blue and orange tones. Like, it was a thing. Like, all the Arizona photographers were doing that when I lived there. If somebody like Isabella or Sage doesn't want pictures that look like that, you might be really good at it, but if your aesthetics type like preferences and choices, it might not be a good fit. A couple of other things. What other people think of us or social proof? Have you worked with people that Sage knows? What size is your Instagram following? It's not the biggest thing in the world, um, you know, but it's at least out there. Um, and yeah, what other people think of you is a part of the calculus. And then the last thing I would say here, and then I want to pause because I want to hear from these two, is oh, Emily's here. Um, Understanding and calibrating to your level. Like, for example, if I send a DM to Jacob Elordi, he's probably not going to want to just like drop whatever it is that he's doing and take pictures with me. And I think Sydney Sweeney would probably approach it the same way. Like, they, you know what I mean? Um, that's just how it goes. Now, granted, if I'm Stephen Meisel or like one of the biggest names in the world, maybe they do, but like the point I want to make here is you kind of also got to like acknowledge your station and like where you're at in your creative arc and look to try to work with people that are sort of in that same general level of their own creative arc too. You know what I
You know
mean?
what I mean?
If you're just starting out and what's up, Emily?
Hi, how are you? Sorry,
So you're
I'm
good,
late.
dude. How you been?
So having some difficulties. Good. Yourself?
We're good, dude. Everybody say hello to Emily. This is another one of my friends who I really, really enjoy working with. Emily, we're just working through like what our social feeds as photographers say about us and how it helps y'all make a decision on whether you want to work with somebody or not.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool. Um, yeah, I guess my point on this one, y'all, is like calibrating to your level, working with people that are roughly in the same area as you are in terms of like how long they've been doing this, how big their audience is. Like, you get it. I don't know. You three, anything you would add there?
Okay, wait, I have so much to add.
Go.
Is that okay? Okay, y'all bear with me, but I promise it's so important. And me and Garrett have literally had so many conversations about this. So we're gonna spit it out really fast. Okay, what type of work we do? As a photographer, that's probably the number one thing because that's the first thing I'm going to see when I go to your page. And usually, I mean, I have so many photographers that reach out. I'll go to their page and it's just like all lingerie. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's
Yes,
not
thank you for
right.
saying it. Thank
Right.
you
So
for
we're
saying
just
it.
going to blurt
Yeah.
this out because, again, we're here to help you guys. So I'm going to be very blunt. If this is you, I love that for you. But I'm just trying, we're going to
Yeah,
help. Okay.
respect to everyone's craft,
Respect
but
everyone's craft,
the
yes,
message you're
but
sending,
from a
yeah.
model's point of view, so like the type of work you do, so like as a sign model who's working and all the things, if you're reaching out to me, but your whole page is lingerie, we're probably not going to work together. Because again, your agencies, they don't want you associated with certain, like there's so many things that go into that. It might not be my personal preference. It's not my agency's preference. There's a million reasons why. The next thing, how good you are at it. I have so many photographers reach out and they ask to shoot, but the pictures aren't that great. And if the pictures aren't that great and I'm to go shoot with you, and I have done this before where I've taken a risk and I've worked with someone because I saw the potential, the photos don't come back that great, and then you blast them on the internet. Now my agents are like, what are these pictures? Why are these out there of you? You can't have pictures like that out there. And I'm like, well, I didn't know. So it's also how good you are at it. And everyone has to start somewhere and you will get there, but that is also something people look to. So maybe picking your best photos to put on the internet versus just putting out everything. What you might be like to work with. This is another huge thing. Models talk. Like we will literally ask each other before working with someone, hey, have you worked with so and so? How was it? Because at the end of the day, we're just girls and like we have to protect ourselves and each other. And I feel like models do really stick together. So like we'll spill the tea. I'm sorry, our loyalties to each other. So if you were a creep and saying weird things, then guess what? I'm gonna tell her that because that we have to protect each other. So just being careful about, you want to be professional and respectful at all times. It's so vital because this is such a tricky industry where like there is that borderline of like being a supportive photographer, saying, oh, shot is beautiful versus like calling me sexy. There's a huge difference
Hmm.
that we need to understand. And what people think of you again kind of goes into the same thing. It's really, really important. And then understanding your level, again, same thing. Especially with social media now, you've got like these social media models, and then you have models who are signed working. There's a huge difference. And I think it's really hard sometimes because like we might want to work with you, but the level that you're at can get us in trouble with agencies or photos or whatever. So it just kind of depends and understanding that. And that doesn't mean don't reach out, but it just means be cautious, be professional at all times, if that makes sense. Sorry for all that, but it's helpful, I promise.
Okay, so thank you, by the way. Sage, Emily, anything y'all would add?
I saw someone in the chat saying he's having trouble. Models are not wanting to work with photographers that are, still new and, developing their book. I think the best advice I can give someone like that is, again, it's like when we go to your page, even if you're still, building your book, it's like have variety. As Garrett said, like if you have, one complete style, it's probably someone's probably not going to want to work with you if you don't have some good variety and some different things in there. And again, as Garrett said, it's kind of like stay within your range. It's you're kind of frustrated because you said that models don't really want to work with you. I think if you're a new and upcoming photographer, you kind of have to gauge what models you're reaching out to. I think you're going to have the best luck with models that are also trying to experiment and build their book.
Yeah, I agree completely with what both of you said. I think definitely don't stop shooting or trying or developing. We're all still growing and building. But don't get shot down if a model doesn't want to work with you because of, yeah, for example, how your social media looks or how your work is still developing, or if you're newer. I've definitely worked with brand new photographers and haven't had the best experience, but I understand that they're still perfecting their craft. So I didn't get down about it, but we as models can't afford to have bad test shoots. Like I said, we can get in trouble with our agencies, but I have, if you are having trouble really getting test shoots with models, reaching out to agencies sometimes is very helpful, if because they're looking to get mutual beneficial test shoots as well for their new up and coming faces.
And again, all of this is like not personal. Everything we said, it's literally not personal between like the model and photographer. It's all just career and like professionalism. Just keep that in mind too.
Yeah. Emily, you bring up a really good point on working through agencies for new faces tests. I'll hit that one in a minute because I think that's a core part of how I got my start too. Thank y'all, by the way. I'm tons of good feedback here. Okay, so I want to talk about setting up shoots and then I'll come back to the agency test thing. like let's talk about the basic components of a shoot. This isn't everything, but I want to like give you guys the 80%. You're trying to solve when you're pitching somebody on working together. What do we want to shoot? Where do we want to shoot it? When do we want to shoot it? Who all is involved? And how? Like maybe lighting or any conceptual things, like just the basics, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's a big concept and it's ambitious. We are going to rent out this mechanic shop to do like an Americana, like fashion mechanic editorial. I don't know. Or it might just be like, yo, this park is great or this beach is great. I want to shoot this. What do you think? So I would always say like a simple concept executed well is way better than a complex concept executed poorly. Um, think about brands like Calvin Klein, Gap, etc. It's like so much white wall with denim, but it looks really good. So a few ways you can start with that what. Like, here's what I want to shoot. Because I think that's the first like obstacle that you want to kind of solve once you get a conversation going. You can send examples of work that you think is cool that somebody else has done. Yo, what do you think about this? I think this would be really cool, this like denim thing at the beach. You can send work you've shot in the past. That's the one I did in the middle. I did this like spec thing trying to get free people movement. Here's an example. What if we did something like this? You can also just send Pinterest boards, whether it's a link or screenshots from the Pinterest board. I think I've done all three of these, at least one of them with y'all. Any of y'all would add? No?
This is like super important for me because I struggle so much with styling. I hate styling my own shoots. It's like the worst part for me. So as much guidance and inspo that someone can provide for me is like great.
Well, and to piggyback off that too, I love to know what the what is. I don't care about any details. I want to know the what because before I commit to when, where, why, I want to know what we're doing because, again, like we said before, it's really important for us to know what we're getting ourselves into because, say, you have this really crazy idea and I have no idea and I show up. Well, I'm already here. We're probably going to do it, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be useful to me or anything in that sense. Like sometimes you show up to a shoot and they've got a crazy concept and you're like, whoa, my agency is not going to be happy with me for this. So that's also just something to keep in mind. Like, let us know what your intentions are, which is kind of what this is.
It's and the
100%. And variety, we also don't want to only shoot this over and over again as well. We need different shoots in our book too, so we don't want to show up to a shoot and have the exact same shoot in our book again.
That's really good advice too. Like y'all need to be able to show variety and range as well because you're trying to book clients like if you only have jewelry work or cowgirl work or whatever it is in your book, then when Mazda calls or what have you, they might not consider you. I mean, it's a weird example, but you get my point. And sometimes like as your working relationship evolves with somebody, it doesn't always have to be what first. Like for example, now that I've worked with these three a few times, we sometimes approach it with like, yo, I'm going to be in town this day. Are you in town? Do you want to get together and work on something? And then if that's the when first. And then if the answer is yes and schedules line up, then it's like, okay, cool, let's figure out an idea. But I think for that first one, when you don't have experience working with somebody, start with what you want to shoot. That's like the first thing to solve after you get, your intro DM. Like, hey, what do you think about shooting something like this? So
Wait, last thing I'm gonna say, and
yeah.
y'all, like what I love too is like if you follow all the like everything we're kind of talking about, if you do all of those things, I promise it's gonna work out for you because like Garrett, for example, did all of those things with us. And now, I mean, Garrett will text me, be like, I'm in town this day, and I'm like, I don't even care what the plan is. Yeah, because I trust him. I know he's good to work with. I trust his direction. I know that whatever we're gonna do is gonna be really cool to the point where I don't even care what the what is because I know the what's gonna be great. So if you follow all the other steps and you make sure you're doing all of that, then you get to that point where you have the relationships with the models to where you can be that way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Isabella been meaning to pitch you on a Power Rangers editorial. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. All right. Relationship over.
Kidding, dude. Okay, so professionalism is table stakes. Like this is you can't go anywhere without it. This is these people's job is getting their picture taken. When you test with somebody, you're doing this to help build each other's portfolios. Emily mentioned it earlier. Like she needs a range of different Emilys in her book so that she can make as good of a living as she can. Consider it a fundamental bedrock timeless principle. Your reputation precedes you. So don't be weird. Be a nice person. And understand that if you're trying to play the game for the long haul, one of the things you don't want is people saying you're not that great to work with for a litany of reasons. So, y'all, I think you would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Very much so. Yes.
All right. Now, let's talk about working with agencies. So I think we covered the basics of like your first couple of steps on how to set up a shoot if you go with cold outreach. But there's also a ton of opportunities in shooting for agencies. Let me talk to you about my start because you might just want to rip this playbook lock, stock, and barrel. When I moved to Seattle in 2018, I had been taking pictures of people in Phoenix for year and a half. I was terrible. And I moved here. I showed up with cookies to one of the main agencies in Seattle, Seattle Models Guild. And I met their new faces director, Macklin. He is a wonderful person. And I just asked to start shooting free tests. We pulled up my portfolio on his computer. He said, this is a decent start. I don't like this. I do like this. He's super nice, by the way, like wonderful person. But I just said, can I start shooting new people on your board for free? And he gave me 2 free test shoots, just as like a prove it, with folks who had just signed to the agency, brand new. And one shoot at a time, again and again, that's how I built my early portfolio. And not only did it help me build my portfolio, we helped other models that were brand new to their own creative journey get off the ground too. And I started to build a relationship with this agency, which is really cool because now, whenever I book a job here in Seattle, they're the first group I call because they gave me a shot early on, and I want their people to get paid because they helped me early on when they didn't have to be nice to me. So, y'all three, anything you would add?
I think
I
that's
think
a great way to get
relationship,
started.
yeah,
Oh,
relationship with agencies is so important. And I think, I mean, even for models too, like showing face, coming into the agency, showing face, making sure they've met you, they know you, you've talked to them, I think is so important to keep you and your work in the forefront of their mind because again, agencies, models, we have so much going on, so many people in and out. It's easy to slip through the cracks, so it's very important to stay, on the forefront of their mind.
Yeah, y'all could do this. Like, if you live in a decent sized city that has a modeling agency, this could be your move. Hey, look, I'm at this point in my creative journey. Can I come in and show you my portfolio? I just want to start learning how to take, I want to start working with your new faces and I'll shoot it for free. It's hard work, but it pays off. Okay, that is how I got my start. All of these things are things I shot in 2018. Some of these are here in Seattle. Some of these are with an agency I was working with a lot in Dallas called Wallflower. I think these two may know that one. Yeah, this is just like very beginning, like trying to figure it out. And these agencies didn't have to be as nice to me as they were, and these people didn't have to spend as much time with me as they did. But that was the foundational building blocks of the start of my portfolio. So it could be that for you too. How you might think about working with agencies. One, these three said it. There is real value in having a good working relationship with agents in your city or cities that you travel to often. I highly recommend it. Like I mentioned, whenever a job comes in Seattle, I will call SMG. They are the ones I want to, they're people to get paid, and I want them to get paid too. Every model is different. Some folks are totally cool with responding to a DM and planning a shootout with you. Some want their agent to be looped in on everything. And that's fine. So if you reach out to somebody via DM and they're like, hey, can you call my agent? Here's their email, whatever. Just do it. It's fine. Like, don't take it personally. On low key tests, like if I just, kind of like what we're talking about earlier, I'll typically just send a DM first. And if folks want me to go through the agent, that's fine. If it's a bigger project, or like I have a wardrobe stylist and a whole team, or if it's a new city that I don't really work in a whole lot, so I don't really know people, or if it's really big names, I'll typically go to agents. Like that's how when Courtney Keller and I shot for the first time 5 or 6 years ago, I happened to be in Houston for a couple of days. She does everything. Like she does so many jobs. And I just reached out to her agent and they said, yeah, she's in town and she's free that day. And I thought that was really cool because that was by far the biggest name I had ever worked with at the time. You just never know. And so shots on goal is a really important thing. And it's just all about how you approach it. So I don't know, y'all three, anything you would add?
I think 100% everything you're saying.
Cool. That's good. Okay. Avoiding photographer red flags. I think this is my last section. I wrote a few. I think we've hit a few throughout the course of this thing. But let me riff on what I think some are and what I think better versions of that are, and then I want to hear if y'all agree. Um, I'll go one by one, and then y'all chime in if you have anything. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Number one, continually messaging somebody to shoot. Only send one or two, and if they don't want to talk to you, you might just leave that person alone for a while.
Agree. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Do not
Agree.
be the one that's like DMing and then texting and then like liking all of our pictures. Like, I get the liking pictures thing if you really need our attention, but like, just don't do that.
Yeah, if you're constantly sending DMs, if you're constantly commenting, like
Yeah.
like just get the hint. It's just we're not interested.
Teague, anything?
I think they said it. I mean, I understand if we haven't seen your message, like maybe reach or maybe liking the photos or commenting if we actually have not seen your direct message, maybe over Instagram, but we probably just don't want to hurt your feelings if we haven't responded or already said that we weren't interested.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't continue to reach out either
Thank you.
or take it hardly though.
Yeah. Next, lack of any sort of plan going into a first shoot with somebody. I think that's kind of not good. Instead, what you might do is go back to that framework we had earlier. What we want to shoot, who's involved, when we want to shoot it, where we're going to shoot it, and any details on how. Have a plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Your first shoot with anybody, it's going to be uncomfortable at least a little bit, no matter what. You're going to kind of fumble through it no matter what. So yeah, having as much planning beforehand is going to help a lot with that. And then yeah, as you have a relationship with that person, you can kind of plan less and less and kind of go into stuff just being like, oh, let's just figure it out because you trust each other. But in the beginning, it's very important to have a plan.
Well, and also too, I kind of touched on this earlier, but like,
Yeah, also communicate with the model.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, earlier I had mentioned
Sorry,
something
go
about
ahead.
how no, you're good. There's like a lag time, so it's hard to hear each other. But you have to have that plan because our schedules are really difficult and hard to work around. So like if you don't have a plan, then we're gonna keep playing like phone tag for however long, and then it might not happen. So just having that clear, concise plan, because you can just move that around versus like I've had photographers where it's like 1 week, it's like, okay, where should we do it? And the next week, it's like, okay, when? And it's like, okay, we've been planning this for 6 weeks. Like, let's just figure it out. I don't have the time to be texting you back and forth all this time. So please use the who, what, when, where, how. It's great. We love it.
Next, choosing a questionable location, especially if it's somebody you haven't worked with before. If the first move is, I have a studio in my garage,
Yeah.
I'm not saying definitely that's a red flag, but I think it's like that's harder for somebody to say yes to. If it's a hotel room, like just, I mean, like
Yeah,
common
it's just
sense.
like put yourself in our shoes. We're women that are potentially going to be showing up, meeting a stranger by ourselves. Like, just be considerate of that and, just make sure we're comfortable. That's what's most important is that everybody is comfortable and feels safe.
Yeah, and make sure again you're being so respectful and professional, especially if you have an at-home studio, because a lot of photographers do. And like, I don't think we really have an issue with that as long as you have a really good reputation, you're respectful and you're professional. That will make us feel better about, going there. But if you don't, then don't expect models to show up at your home.
Hmm.
Yep, good. Alternatively, what you could do instead of that is pick a location that's like normal or in public. Like this public park is great. This beach, I love to shoot this joint. You know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, it's just a little more accessible. So next, making personal comments. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What just right?
Totally.
We get it.
You're really good at that, Garrett, I will say. You're very good at this where it's just super respectful. Like behind the camera, a model wants to hear, like, we need a little words of affirmation. I need to know if I look good, if it's going good, so a little bit like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, this image looks really beautiful versus like behind the camera and you're like sexy. Like, no, I don't, now I'm uncomfortable. So it's just your word choice is
Choice
important.
of words is so important, and it can change the vibe of a shoot immediately. Like if you say one weird comment that makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, this is a completely different situation than what I thought it was, and now I'm uncomfortable, now I feel weird, and now we're probably not going to get the images that we want to get because I'm visibly uncomfortable.
Yes.
Teague.
Yeah, there's a way to be friendly and supportive without being weird, but also silence is uncomfortable too. Like if you do want
Yes.
to hear, I feel like praise or words of affirmation or support, but yeah, so if you're also silently shooting, that makes us feel uncomfortable as well.
Equally as weird.
Yeah, I think if you look at it more as like you're kind of like cheering on a friend, be like, awesome, that's great, you're doing great. Like
Yes.
that's perfect.
Yes.
Cheering on a friend is like maybe the best way I could think of it being described. Like because that really is an approach that seems to pay off. Is like we're trying to become friends with these people, you know, and it like build a creative working relationship where we can make great art. You know what I mean? Um, and saying weird stuff is like a fast track to not doing that. So just work like you're in a job interview or work like you're with your friends, but you know, careful what you say. So, um, if you only shoot suggestive work, that some folks may really want to shoot that, and that's totally cool. And there's a million ways you can use a camera, and there's so much great art out there. But and let's like say you only shoot western work or what have you. If somebody doesn't want to dress up like a cowboy or a cowgirl, they may not want to work with you. Like it's the same thing. So just know like if your book has like a very clear through line and it's just one thing like that, inherently anyone who doesn't necessarily want to do that type of work, you may not get them. So what you could do as an alternative is you could shoot different types of work that a wide range of people would like. Most people wear blue jeans. A lot of people wear t-shirts, suits, dresses. Like you get my point. You know, yeah. Anything y'all would add?
Yeah, I think just don't put yourself in a box. And even if you like if you have like a niche that you really like and you know you're really good at, that's great and you can focus on that, but still branch out and have some variety.
Cool. Taking forever to deliver photographs. I think this is an underrated, annoying thing. And I personally have been guilty about this at times. So I don't want to say I'm perfect here. I'm always going to try to deliver in 2 weeks or less. Sometimes I don't hit that line. I think these three have been affected by that at times. But like, don't take more than a month to give photographs back. I mean, come on, like, geez, dude. Uh, I don't know. Y'all three, is this a fair
Uh,
timeline?
yes. And Garrett, you're always really good about it. You're always like, sorry, it's going to be a week or two, and then you send it a couple days later. You're good about it. But
Oh,
this is so important, y'all, because there's some photographers who they won't send it for months, like 3 to 6 months. At that point, those images are useless to us now. We don't even look like that anymore. Like, and
Yes.
our agencies, yeah, and like agencies want photos very frequently. So like at that point, we just did that for nothing. Like you can use it, but we can't necessarily use it, nor do we want to, because like we don't look the same. So taking too long is just annoying on all for all the reasons.
Yeah, and like I get it, life happens, people get busy, totally understand. But as long as you communicate that and like, hey, sorry, I'm gonna need another week, it's gonna take me a little bit longer, but like I am working on it, totally fine with that. But if it's like radio silence and I have to continuously reach out to you and ask how, the photos are coming along, that's very annoying.
Yeah, I just think communicate the timeline 100% from the start. Understand if you're, for example, developing film and it's taking a while to get film back, but just communicate with the models so that they can communicate to their agents when they're going to have the photos ready.
that's a really good point. Like just being proactive ahead of time, like, yo, this is going to take me a little longer because we shot this whole thing on film. My developer usually takes about this long, then I'm going to have to go through it, yada, yada, yada. So
Yeah.
that's a good point. And then last thing, I think this one's maybe a little bit lower on the list, but like never working with the same person twice. The reason I call this one out is like, I think there's some level of trust building and credibility when folks can see the same folks in your work on a recurring basis. Like, because inherently what that signifies is, all right, this photographer is at least normal enough to work with somebody twice
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
at
They
a
didn't it
base
didn't
level.
scare them off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, you just find people you work well with and you keep doing projects. And the ideas can get better and better because you get more used to working with each other. Like
Hmm.
I, I'll send all three of these people ideas and I'll be like, this is I want to do this someday. You know what I mean? Like um you build creative relationships and you start to build a network of folks that help bring visions to life. And that's really, really fun and super gratifying. So anyway, I think anything y'all want to add? Any other red flags that I didn't hit?
Hmm.
No?
Let me look at my notes.
Heyo. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right. I think now it's just time for Q&A. We've got to get at least one of these three out of here on the hour. So we have like 8 or 9 minutes unless anyone needs to jump now. But do y'all have anything you want to say, or would you like me first, or would you like me to get into the questions from the chat?
I'm ready.
I'm
All
ready.
right. Here
Yeah.
we go. Let's see what we got. Okay, first, I'd like to be assisted on how to create storytelling via mood board and working with natural light at midday. Let's hit the storytelling and the mood board thing. Does anyone want to take it first, or do you want me to?
That sounds like more your world, Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you some advice that one of my photographer friends gave me. His name is Lucas Passmore. He is a titan in the Western and fashion space. His framework was think about shooting projects the way Steven Spielberg thinks about all the shots he needs for a movie, close-ups, exposing shots that are super wide, like shots that feel cinematic, that show a lot of background, shots that show motion or emotion, etc. Like, can you, and the Instagram carousel is kind of a nice mechanism for this. Can we, instead of showing 10 versions that are like 90% the same photo, can you show 5 or 7 different photos from the same shoot that feel like a linear story, or maybe not linear, but different moments from a place? And I think different focal lengths can really help that. Um, Different, like someone's moving or someone's still or what have you. I would think like try to turn it into a movie in stills. And if you use that framework, it can be really helpful. So harder to do in like a studio, but if you're outdoors, that's easier. So let's see. How to better direct a model the way I envision it in my head, how to convert it into reality and make visible in the final frames. Yeah, like I would ask y'all, like, can you tell me any good examples or best practices on photographers that give you good guidance or direction? You don't have to name names, you can, but just like what works.
I feel like I'm trying to think, but I feel like when a photographer has something very specific. So like for me, this is usually when I'm doing a working gig, not a test shoot, because working gigs, they need something specific that I might not hit or know. I like when behind the camera, just tell me what you want. Like be straightforward, but be really respectful while saying it. If I'm not hitting the pose you want, be like, hey, let's try maybe arm to the hip instead of to the side. Let's maybe tilt the head a little bit this way, chin up. Like tell me, just say it out loud. Like you have to be really direct, otherwise you're not gonna get what you want. So, and I don't think models see it as like rude if you're being really direct, as long as it's very respectful, and then we're able to give you that. And then I think that's how kind of like comes together, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
a good
I think
answer.
if you want something very specific, just use your words, be direct, be respectful. I I've worked with photographers that are like when they give direction, they're like, just give me more, And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Just say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
One,
agree. I love being honestly told what to do and what direction we're going in, or being shown a mood board, and then we can get that exact pose, that exact image maybe. But also, yeah, just being collaborative with the photographer, which Garrett, I think you're amazing at as well. Like if we want to hit a certain pose, or for example, on a test shoot, recreate an exact image. See, oh, did we get this? Oh, do you think I need to shoot higher up, less exposure or whatnot? But then just collaborating with the model. And because maybe the model wants to get an exact shot as well that you haven't thought of either. So just being able to communicate that again.
that's a really good point. Emily just made me think of it is completely okay and totally normal to bust out your phone with Pinterest on it and be like, I want to reshoot this photo. I do it all the time. And like when you're running out of ideas, I know that feeling, guys. Um, hey, I thought this was cool. Do you want to shoot this? And then you try to make it happen. That's one. Another thing that can be really helpful, I highly encourage this one. If you have any photographers in your city that you admire, ask them if you can assist on a shoot. Like literally carry their bag, move their lights around, whatever it is. I've done that with a handful of like really, really great people. They're well ahead of me. They're just better than me, like in every way. And you would be amazed at how much you can learn in a 1 or 2 hour span watching a pro cook. Um, and I think that really helps a lot, particularly on guidance and direction for models. Like learning how to talk to somebody and be like, hey, can you tilt your head slightly this way? Oh, that was really good, but I need to shoot this from a little bit higher. Can you go back to this? Um, Watching somebody really good at it that's further along the journey from you is really helpful too. So, um, okay. Regarding deliverables, how many photos do you generally edit and share per shoot? I'm the worst for this because these three know. I have a really hard time being selective. So they might get 50 from me. It could be more. I think Isabella's probably gotten 150 from me
You
at
give
one
me
point.
so many. I have so many
Yeah.
images.
And part of that is because my edit process is very minimal. Like I don't really retouch. Like the person's gonna look like the person. But also I have a hard time making selects. I don't know. What about for y'all? Like what's a number that you're satisfied with?
I don't ever really care that much. Like if they feel the need to give me a few, okay. If you want to give me a lot, love that too. I mean, I think all models love options. I think the more the merrier. Because sometimes when you narrow it down to only a few, like some test shoots, they're 10 images. Well, what if you hate all 10 images, you know? So I think the more is always the merrier, but I would decide that before working with them and let them know how many images it's going to be. I think that's also pretty helpful.
Anything y'all would add?
Yeah, I think we'd never than likely be angry at getting more photos than less. I think you should, yeah, probably aim like 10 plus photos because I have had gotten back shoots where I do hate all 10 images I've got and there's nothing else to choose from. Um, but yeah, I think the more, again, like she said, the more the merrier. It might take me a while because I'm very bad at making selects too. Like if you give me 100, it might take me so long to make those 25 selects because I probably like 75. But yeah, I think just options are better.
On
I
that
think,
note,
and this
oh,
my comment not directly related to this, but Garrett, you did say something about it. Just like minimal retouching, please, minimal retouching. If there's anything specific that I want retouched, I will let you know. And Garrett is really good about asking like, is there anything you don't like, anything you want me to fix? And I think like the last shoot we did, I was like, hey, can you edit out that mosquito that's biting my arm? And but like for the most part, yeah, just keep it very minimal.
the mosquito one was really funny, and I would literally never have caught that. Like I would never have noticed that.
That's so real though, Sage.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I was like looking at the phone and I was like, there's a mosquito actively biting my arm. You think
Yeah.
about it.
y'all see different things than we do, just inherently. Um, One last thing I'd say to this group is like a way that you can, because what you don't want as a photographer is you deliver photos that you worked hard on edits and the other side of the coin doesn't like them and they don't ever see the light of day. Like it's just not good for anybody. You know what I mean? Like kind of a waste of time. So an approach that I've taken, which I think usually works, maybe not always, is I will at least give talent the option to look at everything we shot. I use a website called Pixie Set. It's not sponsored. It's like $10 a month, and they talent you upload low res versions of it, and they could go through and hit the little like button on any of them that they like. And sometimes the overlap is very different. Like Emily in particular, she and I often pick very different photos. Different things catches our eye, like, and that's totally fine. But what I don't want to do is only deliver the stuff that I think looks cool. And then she's like, I don't have anything in here that I think that I like. So I don't know. I guess it probably puts you all, you have to do a little more work on this, but is it worth it? Do you care? I don't know.
Wait, are you asking us?
Yeah, for y'all. Like, do you, yeah, sorry, I should have been more clear. Do you like the ability to make some selects?
Oh,
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Models do, yeah, because photographers and models like different things. Like I know for me specifically, like I love the left side or the right side of my face a lot. Like I hate the left side. But like photographers like the left side. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna post that. So like having the opportunity to pick some selects, I think on both ends is always just a really good way to ensure everyone is happy with the images in the end.
Also, if you're working with the agency, I really appreciate if you send them my way before you send them to the
Yes.
agency, and maybe let me
Yes.
pick out my favorites. Because the majority of the time, the agency is gonna pick like the ones that I don't love, and I'm just like, man. So it's really nice if you kind of let the model go through them before you pass them on to the agency.
Yes, 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 to what you just said. Please.
Yeah, I agree with that. And back to the edits, I think Garrett is very good at this. Like, I understand if crazy filter like editing is your craft, and if you are actually really good at it, then go for it. Edit my photo completely. But Garrett has like sent me a range of edits, or like, do you like this filter on this photo, or like will give me like 3 options to choose from, and then or will also give me a variety of those as well, versus like different photos, like he'll filter, give me different filters as well, which I think is good. And yeah, just a variety, and letting the models in on, sorry, I was gonna say letting model selects before you post is also a great thing. Like Garrett always texts, is this okay
Oh,
if I
Yes,
post? I think is a
that is
huge
so
thing
nice.
as well, on
Garrett
both
is
ends.
honestly, he's one of the only
yeah.
photographers that does that. Is like, hey, is this okay if I post this? Which is like
Mhm.
incredible. So
I was
nice.
just telling someone about that the other day too, that he did that because you are the only person I know that does that. But that also ensures if you want the model, because again, a lot of the models you're working with, they might have social media following you. Like you just don't know what happens. Texting them and making sure that they like it first is only going to help the both of you, especially if you want them to repost it and whatnot. Because there's nothing more I hate than like the worst images of me being blasted on the internet, and then they're like, "Why aren't you reposting?"
Yeah,
Oh,
like Garrett said, we do tend to like different photos, so I will be like, that's not my favorite, but you can post it, or I really don't like that
Yeah.
one. But yeah, we do
yeah.
appreciate if you would reach out before anything
Yeah.
gets
With
posted.
with peace and love, if I look ugly, I'm not gonna repost it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nothing personal. It's just like
Nothing
you wouldn't
personal.
either. You wouldn't do it either.
Thank you. All right, let's see. I think our last one. Well, I mean, do y'all have to jump? We just crossed over the hour. We
I'm good.
I'm good for a few more minutes.
okay. We'll keep.
Same
We
here.
got a couple more. If at any point y'all got to drop, it's totally cool. Let's
Okay.
see. We talked about deliverables. If I'm choosing to shoot in natural light, what are the best locations I can go to? That's a hard one to answer. I think it really depends on. I think it really depends on where you live. The a couple of things that I would call out is like I always enjoy trying to have a lot of negative space back behind my subject or a lot of visual clutter back behind my subject. So, like, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. A lot of negative space. My favorite beach to shoot at in Los Angeles is El Matador Beach. I think it's really good. There's a nice mix of rocks, water. It just looks awesome. And either at golden hour or sunrise, it's killer. Um, that's a great example of negative space in the background. On the flip side, a lot of visual clutter in the background. New York City is amazing. Like I know photographers that have a Google Maps like dedicated map for the buildings they like to use as backgrounds in New York City when they're shooting on the street. Like there are levels to this game. And so for me, without knowing where you live, I think it's about like how can I just keep iterating and find stuff that you do like, and also pay attention to where photographers that live in your city are shooting and ask them, hey, where did you shoot that? That's totally okay. And some folks will gatekeep, and that's okay. Don't get mad, but some folks are really nice. So, and you might make a friend. Next question is for y'all specifically. Do you ever tell your photographer what you want them to shoot? A specific pose, an angle, a theme, concept, what have you? Like, a lot of times it comes from us, but does it ever come from y'all?
I feel like that kind of depends on the photographer you're working with and if you feel comfortable enough to ask them. But I feel like most of the time, like photographers have such like a specific direction they want to go in. Sometimes it's hard to like jump in and say what you want to do. I usually don't because I'm like super scared to. But like with Garrett, for example, like we're friends, like, and it feels like a creative mutual situation. So it's like I'm not afraid to jump in and be like, okay, what about this? What about this pose? But with some other photographers, it's kind of hard sometimes. So I think always just remembering again, like it takes two to tango and to do this. Like we're both taking the time to do this. So maybe allowing a space for models to be able to do that is important.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to be the type of photographer that makes it clear, like, hey, you want to try anything, you want to do anything weird, like, it's totally fine with me. And again, that goes back to building that relationship and building that trust. And again, Garrett is very good at that. I I feel like we're at a point where I'm like, Garrett, I'm gonna do something. It might look stupid. Like, just let me work through it. If it looks
Yeah.
dumb, let me know. I'm not gonna take it personal. But like, that's where we're at now, and it's great. It's great when you can have that kind of relationship with a photographer.
And that goes both ways too. I do stupid things all the time, right? Like we're gonna shoot 800 or 1,000 images if we're shooting on digital, probably. Um, 900 of them are not gonna be good. Maybe more. 975 of them won't be good. And in that selection, I'm trying some things with lighting, with what have you. Like there's with a test that's literally kind of in the name. Like you're testing, you know, like it is a laboratory to try to make something cool, and nobody's on the clock and nobody's getting paid. So anyway, Emily, anything you'd add?
Yeah, I definitely have no problem pulling up a Pinterest board of a shot that I would love to get with photographers, and I think Garrett's very good at letting me get those shots. Versus some photographers, or I wouldn't do that too because I maybe they have already came up with the shots that they want, and I have nothing else to offer, and I want those shots as well. But I've also came to shoots. I remember specifically with Garrett shooting in studio with, oh, I want this exact shot. He let me shoot it. We shot it amazingly, but then the ideas he had ended up being my favorite from the shoot, and I didn't even use the idea I came up with. But I think, yeah, just letting your model run with it, or just being collaborative. That's why I love shooting with Garrett so much, because we both throw all both of our ideas out and then just come up with something beautiful at the end of the day.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you. This is, by the way, a lot of compliments flying my way. I did not plan for this. I did not tell these people to say all this shit. So, let's see. Our
That's why
model,
he brought us on. He was like, they're just gonna actually
nah,
be up.
I know these ones will say good things.
they're nice. Yeah,
It's
they're all
true. It's
plants.
true though.
Thank you.
It is.
Our model releases involved with, I can't, unless I'm getting paid or it's commercial or what have you. I don't. I mean, do y'all feel differently?
Most
No.
people don't, I feel like.
Yeah. I, I think that's pretty much it now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else? How's a time a photographer hyped you up and made you feel like a rock star? Love to make sure everyone is confident and excited. Oh, yeah. Let me hit this for a second. Then I want to hear these three. When I feel like one of the photographer's many jobs on location or on set is vibe management. And like, it is your job to, above anybody else, to make sure people are having fun and feeling good. And so, like, there are shortcuts to that, or not shortcuts, but like, it's part of your responsibility. That means music. That means trying to be maybe the most energetic person there. That means hyping people up. That means trying to make it as collaborative as you can. I think that every one of us has been on a weird shoot where the vibes were off. It's not fun, and you get the work isn't as good. So anyway, anything y'all would add?
Agree with everything you said. I
Cool.
feel like vibe management is definitely helpful. Like models are sometimes like tired or don't know what they're doing. It can be hard. So I think a photographer definitely always having like high vibes, good vibes is always good.
Very
It's
good.
super easy for me to disassociate on a shoot. So
Yeah.
it's really nice when a photographer can be engaging and uplifting and just being like, hey, you're doing a great job. You're killing it. Like that means everything to me.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think it's on all of our parts to have good vibes, but at the end of the day, we're in front of the camera and you're gonna see the vibe we're giving off. So if you can like try and make us or be more energetic or positive, because you can see that effect through the shots you're going to get.
Wait, that's good what you just said. That's a good tidbit because that'll happen to me sometimes where like a photographer's like maybe quiet or not saying anything. And like being in front of the camera is a little different than behind. Both are hard, but they're different kinds of hard. And sometimes when you're like in front of it, you can get in your head a little bit. If you're not knowing how the images are going, you can get in your head and be like, I don't know if this is going good. And then it's going to reflect in the model's face and what she's doing. And then it's going to reflect in your images. So good vibes all around just helps kind of like lift everyone up, which is then going to give you better images in the end because it's always going to show up in your images.
That's a great point. Yeah, when folks they don't feel great or the energy's off, you can tell in the photos. So
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, wait, Garrett, I do need to run,
Let's go.
but
Yeah.
y'all, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Isabella.
Bye, y'all.
Wonderful
See
to
you
see you.
tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I think that's it for our questions. Do you two have anything else you want to say?
I think the only thing that I would just advise is like just be patient. Like this kind of stuff, there's not like a clear guidebook for it. It can be frustrating, but just, remain humble and just keep working. And eventually you'll get to where you want to be. You'll find success.
Yeah, I definitely think, just keep trying. We're both like, everyone should be still working on their craft. You can never perfect this in this industry, and just try new things and don't get down if you don't like your own images, a model doesn't like your images, because I've tried so many things before even, and I don't like what I've been giving, or if it's a face, a pose, or a shoot that because I've like styled my shoots completely or came up with the entire mood board idea, and then it was all on me and none of it was not on you guys at all. The photographer was great, but for example, just maybe an idea wasn't there that day, but just keep trying and working and it'll pay off.
Hell yeah. Thank you both for attending. For taking an hour out of your day. It's like sincerely so appreciated. I thought you both brought great perspectives. Isabella did too. We had a ton of engagement in the chat. I think people asked some really quality questions. Let's wrap this thing. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job today, and hope to see you both soon.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Ingrid.
Have a good day.
All right, catch y'all later. Folks,
Bye.
if you have any questions, email me, what have you, but we're going to call it. Catch y'all later.